Okay, this might be one of the most underrated hikes near Zion National Park. We honestly didn't know what to expect from Kanarra Falls, but the second we stepped into this narrow slot canyon with freezing water rushing through it, ladders against waterfalls, and towering red rock walls all around us, we were hooked. And the craziest part, most people visiting Zion don't even know that this place exists. So in this video, we're taking you through the entire Kanarra Falls hike experience, from the permit process and parking situation to what the trail is actually like, what gear we recommend, the hardest parts of the hike, and whether we think it's worth doing over some of Zion's most famous trails.
Good morning. We are doing another morning hike. We are here at Kanarra Falls. This is outside of Zion. You do have to get a permit. I think it's 120 permits per day that they issued, so we were lucky enough to grab ours. It is about almost like a 5-mile round trip hike, and we're gonna go see some waterfalls and do some river crossings. Come along and enjoy the hike with us.
So let's talk about the permit process, because this is something people definitely get confused about. Kanarra Falls requires a hiking permit that you purchase through the official Kanarra Falls website. Permits are currently $15 per person, and kids 7 and under are free. The town limits the number of hikers allowed each day, currently around 200 permits daily, to help preserve the canyon and reduce overcrowding. And honestly, we highly recommend booking in advance, especially during spring, summer, and weekends. Permits can sell out days or even weeks ahead. The good thing is parking is included with your permit, which makes things super easy once you arrive. When you get to the trailhead, there's a small check-in kiosk where they scan your permit and sometimes ask for your ID, so make sure you have both ready. Also, really important, pets are not allowed on this trail because the creek is part of the town's water source. The hike is just around 5 miles, and we were able to do it in around 3 hours, of course taking lots of breaks for photos, videos, and snackies.
It's a beautiful clear day. We met the ranger. She says that it's a little bit muddy and icy, and the water's 45 degrees. Yay! So I know this is only day 3 of our adventure in Utah, but we have seen a few different parks and hikes, and I must say the restrooms here at this hiking site before the ranger station, absolutely some of the best I've seen. There's stalls, women, there's toilet paper, sink, and they even have a shoe washing station. And then right behind us is the last restroom option that you have before hiking the trail. So that is really a great tip for all of you who may need to go beforehand. They have the option.
Now, Kanarra Falls is located in the small town of Kanarraville, Utah. It's about 40 minutes north of Zion National Park, near the Kolob Canyons area. And this hike has become really popular over the years because it does give you that iconic Utah slot canyon experience without doing a full technical canyon route. You'll hike through flowing water, climb ladders next to waterfalls, squeeze through narrow canyon walls, and honestly feel like you stepped into another world. But before you even get to the trail, remember that you do need a permit. So once you pass the entrance gate, the hike starts out pretty mellow. At first, it honestly feels more like a scenic dirt road walk than a slot canyon adventure. You'll follow this wide path for about 3/4 of a mile as the canyon slowly starts closing in around you. And there is a slight incline in the beginning, but then it does flatten out. And this part actually surprised us because it gives you time to ease into the hike before things get really fun and adventurous. Uh, but pretty quickly, though, you start crossing the creeks and then crossing it again and again and again. And eventually, you just accept the fact that your feet are going to get soaked. There's really no avoiding it. The water was freezing when we went, pretty cold at 45 degrees, but we did wear our wading boots and wading socks, so that kept it a little bit warmer. But if you're not wearing those type of shoes, I think after a while you stop caring how cold your feet are because the scenery becomes so unreal. And then after all those river crossings, some scrambling, some squeezing through the slot canyons, you'll finally arrive to the famous ladder section. And this is probably the most iconic part of Kanarra Falls. You come around the corner and suddenly there's this waterfall pouring down through the slot canyon with a tall metal ladder bolted right beside it. And yes, you actually climb it, and you definitely should. The ladder is around 20 feet high, and depending on the conditions, it can be wet, icy, or slippery. Honestly, it probably looks way scarier on camera than it does in real life, but it definitely starts to get your adrenaline going. And once you climb up, the canyon somehow becomes even more beautiful. The walls get narrower, the lighting becomes more dramatic, and it feels quieter and more remote. But after the first waterfall, there's another waterfall that you can reach. And this is where you have to climb up on some boulders. And I would probably say it was about a 12 to 15 foot climb up, completely doable. If you need help getting up, ask your partner to, but definitely something that anybody should be able to do on their own as well. And then after that, there's also a few boulder scrambling sections where you need to climb around some rocks and continue through the deeper water. And this part is where the hike starts feeling less like a normal trail and more like a real adventure. Okay, so let's talk about a few things we really think you should know before doing this hike. First, always check the weather. Slot canyons can become extremely dangerous during rain because of flash flooding. So even if it's sunny where you are, storms miles away can still send water rushing through the canyon. So definitely don't ignore the weather warnings. Secondly, bring more water than you think you might need. Even though you're hiking in water most of the time, this hike can still get really hot, especially during the exposed sections near the beginning, and even more so during the hot summer months. And third, trekking poles actually help a lot. The rocks under the water are uneven and slippery, so having extra balance makes a huge difference. And finally, don't underestimate how cold the water can be. If you're hiking during colder months, people even wear the neoprene socks, dry pants, or even traction cleats because parts of the canyon can actually ice over in winter. And I think what made Kanarra Falls so memorable for us wasn't just how beautiful it was how interactive the entire hike felt. You're not just walking toward a viewpoint. You're climbing, balancing, wading through freezing water, squeezing through the canyon walls, and constantly reacting to what's around the next corner. It honestly feels immersive the entire time. And honestly, we totally understand why people compare this to a mini version of the Narrows in Zion. But what we actually liked about Kanarra Falls was that it felt more adventurous in a shorter amount of time. Each section felt very different, every turn looked cinematic, and somehow the canyon just kept getting prettier the farther we went. We also really appreciated that the permit system helps keep the trail from becoming completely overcrowded. Even though there were other hikers around, there were still moments where it felt quiet and peaceful inside the canyon.
You guys, we have made it to the end of the Kanarra Falls Trail.
Good one.
It is
Highly recommended. Very easy. It's a little cold, but that's what it makes sweaters.
And we're doing this in April. Today is a Wednesday, and there's only 2 other people on the trail. We had the trail to ourselves up until we got to the waterfall. I mean, it is such a fun hike. Once you get past like the first mile, that's path, that's fun, that's nice. But it became super fun once you got into the canyons, and it is stunning. I mean, I don't know. We get so many good snacky views. We're so lucky. All right, time to eat.
So is Kanarra Falls worth it? Absolutely. If you're visiting Zion and want something adventurous, scenic, and a little less mainstream than the park's biggest hikes, this one is 100% worth adding to your itinerary. Just come prepared. And after you made it this far in the video, let us know in the comments, would you do a hike like this with freezing water and waterfall ladders? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next adventure.